Hello, everyone. How are you? This is Omar from the Third Rail. I hope you're having a good, beautiful day, another week. Let's go. What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing? We doing good? We got a lot of stuff to get to, well, not too much, but over the weekend we saw a lot of stuff going on in Los Angeles and in Texas, as you saw in the thumbnail. Palestinian child was deliberately being drowned by Zionists Jewish woman. I don't know what this with these children. The last time in Chicago, a couple months ago, they stabbed a Palestinian child 26 times until he died. And the problem is that our brothers on the other side, they're always the victim. We are the victim. Anti-Semitism is on the rise, ladies and gentlemen. But the people being stabbed are the Palestinians and other people. A matter of fact, Wikipedia said the ADL is full of shit. The ADL makes up the numbers. I showed you the number the last time we had about 2 weeks ago about the ADL numbers. Anti-Semitism on the rise. It is horrendous. The Jewish Americans are in danger. They are in danger. There's nothing going on. The Jewish Americans are safe and rich, and they are running the show, my friends. They're running the show. You saw that group on WhatsApp. 100 Zionist Jews, millionaires and billionaires, made a group on WhatsApp to counter the anti-Zionist genocide in Gaza. Yeah. So the whole idea is Wikipedia said to the ADL, "You are liars. You are not a good source for anti-Semitism. Imagine you are the leading agency that is fighting anti-Semitism, and you are told by Wikipedia that your numbers are lying and you're making up shit as you go, and we cannot trust you as a source for information on anti-Semitism in the United States of America. And we are not going to trust you on events going on in Israel no more." The ADL, the American Defamation League, whatever you want to call it, the mafia itself, the economic terrorists called the ADL that terrorize Americans and people on these platforms. Did you know the ADL gives advice to the FBI and to the PayPal and all these, to Facebook, to Twitter? But Wikipedia said they are untrusted source for information. So how do you train the FBI if you're not even trusted by Wikipedia? Anyway, over the weekend, we saw a lot of things go on. I was watching Twitter, and on Twitter it said, synagogues are under attack by pro-Palestinians. I'm like, what's going on? Why will a pro-Palestinian protest in front of two synagogues in Los Angeles? As a matter of fact, when you listen to the media, you're thinking, whoa, these Palestinians, these pro-Palestinian people are violent and they need to be stopped. And then when you dig into the story, the violence is not done by them. The violence is done against them by an organizations, by rich billionaires, our brothers, the WhatsApp group that's giving money and funds to these organizations, not just to counter protests, but to create an environment of fighting and punching in order to demonize the anti-Israeli, anti-Zionist, genocidal maniacs. So what they do is they will go and attack these groups who are just peacefully protesting. Most of them are women and adults who can't protect themselves. And then the media will come, oh, there is mayhem going on in front of the synagogue. The Jews in America are under attack. Can you believe that? And I'm watching Twitter, especially the Zionist scumbag like Joe Walsh, the Zionist, the Zionist Christian, who don't have anything to do with Christianity but worship the Zionist state and give all their money to that. So what happened was that these synagogues are up to no good like they were during the time of Jesus Christ. So I went to the Bible. I said, let me go to this Bible that Christians have. It says in Matthew 21, verse 12 to 13, and Mark 11, 15 to 18, and John. These are the Bible of the Christians. I'm not a Christian, but I had to go read it. And John 13 to 17, it says, it talks about Jesus when he goes to the temples of the synagogue of that time. The passages describe how Jesus entered the temple courts, drove out those who were buying and selling, and overturned the tables of the money changers, and expressed his displeasure at the commercial activity taking place in a place meant for worship. This happened 2,200 years ago, before Good Friday, my friends. And this is exactly what was going on. They had a gathering of selling Palestinian lands and homes, illegally occupied Palestinian homes and land in the West Bank and East Jerusalem, all over the place. You understand? Let me see if I can find it for you here. You know what happened to me? I don't know, man. I lost my eyesight the last 2 months. I think somebody put a jinx on me on this. First of all, I'd like to thank the new followers in the new followers. All right. This is exactly what was going on. They were having a land sale inside the synagogue that Jesus 2,000 years ago said is not allowed. They were dealing and wheeling in stolen Palestinian land. Unbelievable. And this is, I think, is this it? Yeah, let me see. See? These are American citizens. Those are the pro-Israeli protesters, counter-protesting people who are protesting the auction that was going on inside the synagogues to sell Palestinian homes and land, people who have been ejected out of their land and and expelled by force in the West Bank by the Israeli military. So, let me see, is this it? Yeah. So, all right. It didn't show all that, but let me show you one more. Okay. This is one of the protests. Let me see, is this it? Let me see.
They were clearly on the side of the Zionists, even being brought water by some of them and giving them fist bumps. The counter-protesters were very violent. They were clearly the agitators.
Hold on. The police were giving water to the Zionist protesters who were beating up American citizens who are just protesting peacefully. They were giving them thumbs up, dabs. When the police becomes a partner to the situation, then you can't trust the police of Newsom in California and Los Angeles, because they're on the side of the anti-Zionist protesters who are being violent and attacking those protesters and helping them, then helping attack and arrest those other protesters who are protesting the illegal land sale of Palestinian lands. The Palestinians have no hope. The only hope is Americans. Americans, Christians, Jews, whatever you want to call them, who have a goodwill, who are willing to help these Palestinians save their land and their homes. Imagine having a house and a home and they bring this crank and it demolishes your home and your land, and you are rendered homeless, and that land is put on auction in a Los Angeles synagogues 6,000 miles away from your home. This is unbelievable. This is what the...
Today we were protesting outside of a real estate event in Beverly Hills that was selling homes in Anglo neighborhoods in Palestine. There was heavy police presence. They were clearly on the side of the Zionists, even being brought water by some of them and giving them fist bumps. The counter-protesters were very violent. They were clearly the agitators in the situation. So I was punched twice today. The first time was by a police officer who ran up behind me and punched me in the kidney and yelled, "Move." There was no kind of warning to it. It just came up and happened.
The police officers are attacking demonstrators, man. You can't make this shit up no more. Excuse my language. You can't make this stuff up. I can't see no more, man. I'm blind. Got these new glasses, so I was going to see better, and I'm not. So this is a lady who's at the demonstration in front of a synagogue that was selling. The whole idea is that the Jews in America, or the American Jew, or the Jewish internationally, are always the victim. They are the ultimate victim. It is like, I think they've been scarred or traumatized, whatever happened to them in World War II, that they carry this victimhood throughout. They are the oppressors, and they are the one with the guns shooting, and they are still the victims. Imagine killing 46,000 people in 7 months, and you are still the victim in the international arena. You are still complaining, about October 7th. How many died? 800. How many were killed? How many died? 1,200. How many were killed by the Jewish, by the Israeli army? About 400. They can't get the idea of victimhood out of their mind. It just inserted, and it's, I think they are traumatized people that you are.
Happened, and the second time was I was heading through the protest, and a Zionist punched me in the back of my head. Yeah. So I saw protesters that were being spit at, and there was a woman who was hit with an egg on her hijab. The Zionists
spit out. They do this all the time. They've been spitting on Christians for years, for decades in Jerusalem, and the Christian Zionists will still give away their money. Hey, take our money and beat up the Christians in Jerusalem. We don't want those Christians because they're dark skinned. Yeah, I don't know why I said that. Okay, guys, I can't see nothing, man. Let me see. Okay. All right. Let me finish this.
were overwhelmingly targeting women. They were using a lot of sexist language and even pushing, shoving, and throwing things at us. The police were using excessive force. There was a lot of pushing, shoving, punching from the police. They also seemed to be overwhelmingly targeting women that were holding the line. Pro-Palestinian protesters were just outside this event. They were chanting, they were being peaceful, and they were viciously attacked by Zionists and police.
Hey, there you have it, guys. They were being attacked by the police department. The police were more involved in the situation than the Zionists were. So the whole idea is that they're not gonna win, because the money is on the side of the Zionists, the media is on the side of the Zionists. I mean, these are American, they're not Palestinians who are protesting when they see something wrong. This is what America is all about, man. This is what America is all about. America is all about the people. I'm not talking about the government here. When they see grievances done to people, they come out and they protest, and they don't have to, you know. That girl, she didn't have to come out and protest against Palestinian land being sold inside the United States in a synagogue that's supposed to be there for worship. They don't have to come out, but they do come out because these are good-hearted people, and I appreciate them. As an Arab American and as an Arab, I appreciate these people. I think these people are great. They got beautiful hearts. Let's see what CNN said. Oh, no. Where's CNN? No, they didn't. Is it CNN? Yeah.
Wanted LA's mayor to beef up security.
Okay. Okay, I think this is CNN, right? Yeah, it is CNN. And I gotta fix this up. Today I'm not organized, right? I am not organized. Yeah, oh my God. All right, let's listen to this. This is a CNN report. They did tell some truth to it. They did say that it was, but they did not say who started the fight.
at houses of worship around the city. Let's discuss with CNN senior political commentator and former Obama administration official Van Jones.
Now, Van Jones, mind you, he's a sellout. He got $100 million from Jeff Bezos from Amazon. I don't know for what. And remember when that crisis started, he went to the pro-Israel rally and he gave away his speech. This guy is a fucking sellout, man. Look at him. He's going to come in there because he knows he's been prepared. They call him Jones. Yeah, you got to go on CNN. You got to earn that money, man. You got to earn that money, Van. Go ahead, earn it.
Great to see you. I'm curious to get your reaction to these scenes playing out, not just in Los Angeles, but we've seen similar ones across the country.
Well, look, this is unacceptable. As a father who's actually trying to raise my children in Los Angeles, I want to just applaud Mayor Bass, Governor Newsom.
He's framing it as if it's a danger to him and his children. You have to listen, people, ladies and gentlemen. You have to always listen to what they're saying. You understand? These people are equipped. He's ready. He got the trigger on his lips to shoot. Go ahead, brother.
And President Biden for speaking up about this. Listen, if you don't like what's happening in Gaza, it's your right to protest. That's not a problem. But you protest a policy. You don't protest a people. When you protest a policy, you go to City Hall and you protest. You go to the Israeli consulate peacefully. You protest.
They were protesting the sale of land inside the synagogue. They didn't go in. They didn't trespass. They didn't do nothing. Until the same gang that came, that attacked the student at UCLA and other places, that paid by Jerry Seinfeld's wife and other rich Zionist Jews who are paying these groups to attack anti-Israeli protests, to create this havoc and demonize them and you know, like mix everything up. Then the average American, when they walk here, like, what are they doing over there? Look at them. Are they attacking those synagogues? Oh my gosh. They're attacking the synagogue. Can you see them?
Maybe you go to your elected representative, you protest. You don't bum rush a Jewish neighborhood and run up on a synagogue. That's not protesting a policy, that's protesting a people. And that is across any line in America, and it has to be called out. And you have to also understand the context here. This is a neighborhood that's already been traumatized. Not just October 7th, which traumatized all Jewish communities, but that neighborhood in particular. Last year, in February, not one, but two Jewish men, Orthodox Jewish men, were gunned down, were shot in two back-to-back hate crimes. So you're dealing with a community that's already traumatized.
Okay, these people with demonstration, hold on. Those. All right, let him talk. Shut off that blue light, man. Look. Good.
They're already fearful. And then you go and you do something like this. I have no problem with people protesting policy. You cannot protest a people. That is not a protest. That's a pogrom, and that has to stop.
Let's talk.
You see, the word he used, a program. They have used every word in the book: anti-Semitism, blood libel. Now the new word for the week is pogrom. This programs, I think, that happened in Eastern Europe against Jews. You understand? We don't. Now they're using that. These people were not people. I swear to God that these protesters were not attacking Jews or synagogue. They were outside protesting the sale of Palestinian homes and land. That's all they were doing, and they were attacked by the police and the paid mob.
Talk about the policy. Let's talk about how the Biden administration, how the president's handling the policy, Van. How do you see it? Where does he need to improve on this?
Well, listen, I think that the president is in a tough position because the base of the party is
very easy. A fucking ceasefire, everybody's happy. Permanent ceasefire. The Lebanese stop shooting at Israel. The Houthis stop shooting. The Iraqis stop shooting. And everybody's going to go home. Very simple. That's old Joe Biden. But Joe Biden, he's asleep. He don't know what's going on.
Is very concerned about these images that we keep seeing from Gaza, and he wants to take a strong stand on behalf of human rights for everybody. That's Joe Biden. At the same time, I think it's a little bit naive for some people to think that if Israel would just suddenly just stop doing what it's doing, that rainbows and bunnies and sunshine would break out over the Middle East and it would all be, be fine. The hostages have to be returned. If you can call for a ceasefire on both sides.
Okay, see, this piece of shit is lying. Van Jones is a sellout. Not only is he a sellout to black people, he's a sellout to all Americans. He's a sellout. He got $100 million from Jeff Bezos. For what? Joe Bezos of Amazon. For what? What is this guy doing to deserve a $100 million grant? What are you doing? So the whole idea right now, he's saying, well, this is the same talking points that the Zionist or the Jewish media here has been using. The pro-Jewish Zionist media has been using is, when you say the word Jews, everybody fucking, American Jews, man. I'm an Arab. If you say Arab, I'm not screeching. The same talking points. Oh, we got to release the hostages and have a ceasefire. They have declared 2 ceasefires by the United Nations Security Council, and Israel refused. And the United States was voted for it. Biden came in there and he stretched his walls and he tried to pretend that he's a man. And he said, well, we have a 3-phase plan for a ceasefire. Netanyahu gave him the middle finger. And America has no say in the Middle East. All you have to do is you keep on bringing us those big bombs and those rockets so we can kill these. We got to finish them. We need more bombs. We need more bombs. Hurry up. That's what he on TV. He said, we need more bombs. For what? 2,000 bombs for what? To kill kids?
Sides. Hamas is still firing its rockets. They still have hostages kidnapped. So this is a complex issue, but here's what's not complicated.
Yeah.
Politics can be complicated.
Let's see.
Geopolitics can be really complicated.
Let's see.
How you treat your neighbors, how you treat people in your community is not complicated.
All right.
You don't run up. I haven't seen any Jewish.
Well, Van Jones, we had a Jewish woman in Texas attack a Palestinian woman and take her 3-year-old daughter and try to drown her inside a pool, and she's been charged with capital murder. Yeah, we don't talk about that on the media.
Jewish people running up on mosques with Israeli flags. If they did that, I'd be denouncing that too.
Yeah, but we're not selling Israeli homes and Jewish homes inside of a mosque. You understand? And we already had a lot of protesters outside our mosque.
Certain things you don't do. It is a red line. If you want to be a part of a protest and they say, we're going to go to a Jewish community center, we're going to go to a mosque, we're going to go to
the question you have to ask, Van Jones, is what was the synagogue doing? They didn't just pick the synagogue because of the hatred of Jews or they wanted to scare Jews. The idea that they was, the framework here is to play to the victim card. The Jews is always the victim, whether he's attacking or being attacked. This is what it is. It's called the ultimate victim mentality, or traumatized by, I don't know, the Holocaust, whatever you want to say. So the whole idea is these people did not pick these synagogues because there was some hatred or they wanted to attack. They protested outside these 2 synagogues because they had an auction going on. An auction. Imagine an auction, selling property that is 6,000 miles away. That doesn't belong to you. You could say inside Tel Aviv, there's a proper Israel. If you were selling houses and homes inside Tel Aviv or Haifa or what is independent Israel or is sovereign Israel, it's okay. You could, but when you're selling land of people being killed and ejected from their home, you are a piece of shit, and you deserve no respect. And they have the right to protest because you turned the synagogue into an auction block. It is no longer a place of worship when you turn it, like Jesus said, stop defiling my temple. He stopped the money changers and the commercials, and people were selling and buying inside God's house. I read it to you in the Bible, in the Christian Bible. These people were doing the same thing.
A Jewish restaurant. That's not a protest. That's a pogrom. That's an anti-Jewish, bigoted act. If you want to be a part of a protest, let's go to a mosque. Let's go and harass the Muslims. That's not a protest. Yeah. So we've got to get clear in our country what is a fair protest about policy, you can agree or disagree, and what's going after people, human beings, terrifying moms, grandmas, children who are trying.
This is a paid mouth. He works for the ADL. He works for APAC. He's he's like those cars you rent at a clown at a circus, and you drive them around. Whoever comes, or those bicycles, city bicycles. Van Jones is a city bicycle that you put your credit card and whoever comes, drive it.
To be a part of a neighborhood. The Jewish neighborhoods in LA are well known. Nobody is confused where they are. So if you show up there wearing a keffiyeh, you show up there with your face covered, you show up there chanting "River to the Sea," that would be just like a white person running up with a Confederate flag in Harlem. You're not.
So, did you guys tell us that Jews in America had nothing to do with Palestine? Why should they be offended by the idea, by the, if I say, between the sea and the thing and I have to say it like that because YouTube will fuck my money up. I'm going to say it. Who cares about a dollar? I make $1 each show. Why are they offended by the idea when people say, okay, so the mic was not working? Why are they offended by the idea between the river and the sea? Let me make sure you. The words. I did a lot of shows with no sound when I started. Nobody would tell me. So the whole idea, why are they offended by people wearing keffiyeh? Why? Why should you be worried about that? Stop stealing Palestinians' homes and land. Stop. You need to fear God and stop. So
Trying to start a conversation. You're trying to start a fight.
No,
stop doing that. Don't do that. We don't want more violence. We don't want more fear. We don't want more terrified people. We've got to be able to come together as a country. If either side had an easy answer, it'd have been solved.
It is.
I'm less concerned about the politicians now. I'm concerned about the people in my community in Los Angeles moving in a direction that is more and more dangerous, more and more scary, more and more destructive. The Jewish community does not need to have people doing those types of things.
Fucking God, nothing happened. The people got beat up. You saw the video. The people got beat up by the pro-Israeli group and by the police. When everybody loves you, they all loves you. When you're hated, you're hated. The Palestinian is the international orphan. The Palestinian issue is the international orphan. It has no father, it has no mother. At this time in history, the American people, the average American, actually adopted this orphan child that has been abused for 76 years. And I love America for that, man. I really do. That's what America's all about. These fucking people are sellout. It's got Van Jones, all these CNNs. They're all owned by corporate America. Every single is their own. They have no free will. They have to toe the line.
Things. It's not helping anybody in Palestine, but it's making America a much less safe place for everybody.
Plus, it's helping people.
It's tough to watch the discourse and the dialogue devolve into what we witnessed in LA and other places. Van Jones, great to get your perspective. Thanks for being with us.
Well, thank you.
Word up. Excuse me, Mr. Officer. Word up. I can't believe you're living like that. What's up? Great show, Third Rail. Who is this? Frederick LA. What's up, Frederick, my brother from the Hake Report? How you doing, man? Loving you, man. God bless you and your family, man. I hope you're doing fine. You should do a story on this guy named Theodore Herzl. That's right. That's right. How does it, if you're still here, this guy is he's the original thief. He's the one who guided all the Jews in Eastern Europe and gave them the idea of moving to Palestine. But the problem, a lot of people don't know, before Herzl, there was the Zionist Christian. The Zionist Christian in Europe during the 1880s and the 1870s, believe it or not, Frederick, this is a true story, man. Before the Zionist Jews, they were the Zionist Christian, and they still are. America has about 30, 40 million Zionist Christians. They worship Israel. They donate, they give money away, they don't care. So the whole idea is that these Christian Zionists came up with the idea that I don't know. There's a verse in the Bible. If you put all the Jews in Israel, that after you fill up Israel, all the Jews, that the second rapture will come, and then the Jews will have two choices: to accept Jesus or perish in hell. And the Jews were saying, "All right, we'll take that because we don't believe in it. We believe you guys are heretics anyway. We don't believe in Jesus. We don't believe in Christ anyway. So we'll take your money and we'll take your idea. And thank you for doing it for us. Thank you for helping us stealing this land, this Palestinian land." This is what it is. The Zionist Christian in America. It's in the heartland of the United States of America, where you have Christians that have been convinced that they must support Israel, they must support the Israeli program of colonial replacement, of taking other people's land and chasing them out. These are American Christians who profess they are Christians, but they are not. I don't think they are. And imagine, Frederick, if you're hearing me, there used to be large Christian Arab communities in the Middle East. Imagine if these group have supported these Christians inside Jerusalem and Bethlehem, where Jesus was born. No, they don't support them. These Christians communities are dying out because they have no support from the outside, and they find it easier to go to the United States and just abandon Jerusalem altogether. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, my friend. I didn't see you, man. You know, I usually when I'm when I'm streaming, I don't watch the comments, and that is a stupid thing for me to do. Anyway, Frederick, if you still hear me, man, thank you for showing up, man. It is people like you. I don't have a lot of people who watch or anything like that, but I appreciate. I want to build this channel. I know it's 2.8 minutes to be, but anybody, and especially in Rumble, if you're on Rumble and you hear me, please join the channel. Become a supporter. I'm gonna tell you the truth, unafraid, man. I'm not afraid of anything no more, man. I'm just gonna say it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you how evil shit is. Things are so evil with these people. Let me see. Is that it? Okay. You need to be a witness to this, man. You guys need to be a witness to this. You have to be. I showed you the last show. It was only a photo. All right. Let me see. This is okay. Can you see? See? That's an injured Palestinian on a hood of a car. This is how ridiculous and evil these pieces of shits are. These people do not deserve your tax dollars. These are not the chosen people. They are the unchosen. You understand? You see? That's a human being on the hood of a car. It is like in the United States when you have a roadkill. You know, when you have a roadkill. Oh, I don't want to go that far. When you see that? This is a Palestinian on the hood of a car, man. Look at that. Yes. See? That's America's taxpayers' money at work. These people worship the devil. They don't worship God. I mean, there have been wars and there have been killing, but we have never seen evil like this. Last week in the New York Times, they had a report where they put in electric metal inside the rectum of Palestinians and punishing them. If you remember this, the police in New York City used to do this to immigrants. This is true facts, man. Look it up. I'm not making this up, man. You understand? So let's go to another story. Now, over the weekend, I want to show you how afraid our what do you call it? Let me see. This is it. Yeah, this is it. Okay. let me get out of the way. Now you saw how evil that was. Now this is another crazy shit, man. A Texas woman, see, they don't say that. It's a Jewish woman who tried to kill a Palestinian child. You know who said Jewish woman? Jewish newspaper, Israeli newspaper said it, but American media is afraid to say who this is. Let me see if I could find this here. Okay. Let's watch this here. They're going to tone it down a little bit.
Today, Muslim community leaders and state lawmakers gathered in North Texas, calling for harsher penalties after an alleged racist attack.
I'm shocked and appalled by this alleged racist, Islamophobic occurrence.
Eula's police say it happened on May 19th at this apartment pool off Highway 360.
A Jewish woman, her last name is Wolf, deliberately attacked a Muslim woman because she had the hijab on her head, and deliberately tried to drown her daughter and kill her daughter because the baby had a hijab on. This is a public pool. I think it's like, you know how you have those pools in a neighborhood complex? This is a public pool. This is crazy. And the media refused to name it for what it is. The Jewish newspaper, Yor Hanat, whatever it's called, that's when I first saw it. It didn't say no Texas woman. It said that a Jewish Texas woman, Zionist, whatever you want to call it, Zionist. They didn't say Zionist, but if you say Jewish, they're going to get offended. So you got to say Zionist, as a cover word for that. But it is what it is. It's a Jewish woman who's so hateful. Remember last week we had that Jewish woman at a protest and she put out a knife and tried to attack the protester with a knife in Canada? She tried to drown a 3-year-old kid, man.
Investigators say a Muslim woman wearing a headscarf was at the pool with her 2 young children when 42-year-old Elizabeth Wolf entered the pool area. Police say Wolf was very intoxicated and began asking the mother where she was from and if the 2 children were hers. Then Wolf jumped in the pool and started trying to force the heads of the 2 children under the water.
According to the mother, the 6-year-old.
She tried to kill 2 kids. I thought it was 1. They're already putting, she's intoxicated. Now, you know what they're going to do? Because she faces a capital punishment. The ADL is going to come involved, and APEC is going to say, listen, we're not going to give you no more money if you let this go on. Let's just say the woman was mentally disturbed because nobody will kill children. So let's just send her to a psychiatrist hospital, stay there for 6 months and go home. Imagine if that was Jewish children. You saw how CNN went. The governor of California, Joe Biden, to be fair to Joe Biden, he did make a statement on the child. And he said there is no place for it in the United States to happen. It's true. No children, no matter who they are, black, white, Jewish, Muslim, Buddhist, whatever you are, should be afraid or should be face the danger of being drowned. Here's the brothers.
Her son was able to escape, but her petite 3-year-old daughter was unable.
Investigators say bystanders were able to pull Wolf away.
Was unable. Petite 3-year-old daughter to escape, but
water.
According to the mother, the 6-year-old son was able to escape, but her petite 3-year-old daughter was unable.
Investigators say bystanders were able to pull Wolf away from the children, who both survived. And that while Wolf was being arrested, she allegedly made statements about the Muslim family not being Americans.
The attacker reportedly shouted to a bystander woman who was calming the mother down, tell her, quote unquote, tell her I will kill her and I will kill her whole family.
Damn.
Activists say the children have been left traumatized after the incident and that this alleged attack comes amid a rise in anti-Islamic hate. The Council on American Islamic Relations says nationwide, the number of complaints of anti-Islamic discrimination they received in the last 3 months of 2023 was more than double the total for that time period in 2022.
Yeah, but you don't hear us crying. Do you see this on CNN about the anti-Islamic hate and attack? We don't have, you know what I'm saying? We're not on TV. Anti-Islamophobia is on the rise. It is horrendous. Americans are attacking Muslims all over the place. They're not doing that. whoever does that, they're fucking idiots. What they gonna do? That's dangerous. That to try to drown a child. That's obvious. But people, they could say whatever they say. I grew up here in New York, man. I've been called a camel jockey. I've been called all that. But my friends, sand dune and the N-word, sand N-word. I mean, I could say the N-word, right? I mean, I was called as a sand. That's all I did. People say what they say. People hate, they hate. Sometimes people just say, but the ADL, if you say that between the river and the sea, that's considered anti-Semitism, and they put it right on the number. If you say we're anti-Zionist, that's anti-Semitism. If you say that Gaza is being genocide, no, you stop making up the numbers. America is not a hateful country, man. America is a beautiful country. And if you don't get with the program, you gotta get the F out of here, man. It is. You don't attack other people's children, man. And this is so crazy. That what's so crazy about it is the media, they did put a little here and there. I think this is NBC in Texas. I want to see on CNN.
Behind these numbers are human tragedies, and children appear to be the prime targets.
Wolf has been charged with attempted capital murder and injury to a child. NBC5 reached out to her for a response to the charges, but Wolf hasn't answered. Activists are now pushing for this case to be handled as a hate crime, saying prosecutors need to send a message that alleged attacks like this one won't go unpunished.
Hate against one community is hate against all of us. And we can't sit around and let crimes like these become the norm in our great state of Texas.
Keenan Willard, NBC5.
All right, thank you.
Whoa.
You don't get to get a commercial on me for free here. So the lady in Texas is a Jewish lady. She hates Arabs, I guess, and she hates Muslims. I tried to drown 2 children. Now, my idea is I don't like victimhood. I don't like the idea I'm a victim. I don't like that. I don't understand. The white people are all crazy. They're going to attack us. No. That's an attack on these children. That person is responsible for her own action. I'm not going to blame a group of people or an ethnicity or things of that nature. That's it. We have laws. But this victimhood, I'm a victim. You got to stop that, man. You got to stop that. Oh, by the way, I got one more. I have this. Okay. We're going to watch a segment with Mahdi Hassan. He had Dean Phillip, who's running for president. I don't know what country he's running on. Nobody even knows who he is.
Is condemning Sunday.
Hey, get out of here. We don't want to deal with it. Where is it? Oh, here it goes.
I'm sure you saw put out a video
Okay.
this week saying
so we're going to watch this together. Now, the reason I want us to watch it together is I want you to see how people squirm and how they lie, and the hypocrisy, how it shows up when they try to be hypocrites. No, we don't do that. Is this it? Let me get it. No, I don't want to be on the. All right, let's start this. Let's watch this together, guys. Ready? And I'm going to stop and just, comment on certain things. This is Mahdi Hassan. He used to be on MSNBC. He had a show on Peacock, and he had a show on NBC Sunday night on NBC. He was let go, or his contract was ended, and his 2 shows were canceled after an Israeli official came on the program, and he destroyed him. And the Israeli official, they're not used to pushback from American journalists, and this guy just wiped the floor with him, and he lost his show. Now he has his own media company called Zieto. I remember I pay $72 a year for that. Okay.
Biden administration, quote, has been withholding weapons and ammunition to Israel, which I wish were true, but isn't true, as the White House has since pointed out. But it is a Republican talking point and will only help the GOP going forward. Why does Joe Biden, why does your party continue to help, assist, defend, invite to Congress a man who seems intent on lying about your party leader, happy to humiliate Biden and the Democrats whenever he can in public, and is keen to see your candidate lose to Donald Trump in November?
First of all, let me say I agree with everything you just said, other than the invitation, which of course was extended by the Republicans, Mike Johnson, Speaker Mike Johnson.
But co-signed by Democrats.
Co-signed, out of tradition, but I concur. But your question is, why would we continue to support him? I'm glad you said him, by the way, because so much of this debate and deliberation, I think, is about
the whole issue. The reason he said, I'm glad you said him is, I'm blue now, right? Because I was looking ugly. I put my blue light on. The reason he was saying him is that he's glad is because he don't want to say the state of Israel. Dean Phillips is a Jewish American who's in Congress. He's very rich. He's a multimillionaire. But you have to know that every there's a Zionist in you. I mean, they love Israel because they see that as their getaway in case shit gets wrong here in the United States. But the whole idea is stop pretending. That's what I want to ask you. Stop pretending that you're being fair and balanced between as a leader.
Israel and the people of Israel and the nation of Israel, not enough about Netanyahu, who in my estimation is a disaster for Israel, for the Jewish diaspora, certainly for Gaza. And I wish we would have more conversations about him, just as we should have had more conversations about Trump. I wish the world had more conversations about Trump versus America. With all that said, he is undermining this relationship. I think he's undermining the security of Israel. I think the invitation was in poor taste and destructive. And I think his video yesterday was a summation of how he is disrespecting the United States of America.
What he's talking about is Netanyahu went in a video and just started yelling at the United States. They're not giving them enough weapon, not fast enough. Imagine being a beggar and loud at the same fucking time. This was alluding to the video he did on Twitter.
Okay, and if I were Joe Biden, I would be awfully disappointed.
Joe Biden doesn't know where he's at.
Netanyahu also said in that video, quote, "Give us the tools and we'll finish the job a lot faster." That doesn't sound like a man who has signed up to Joe Biden and the UN's ceasefire plan. In fact, Netanyahu keeps saying he will not end this war of his until it's reached its goals, destroying Hamas, etc. It's a non-starter for him. These are his words, to do a deal with Hamas right now. So why does the Biden administration keep, I would say, lying and saying Israel has signed up to the ceasefire plan and only Hamas hasn't? We keep seeing Blinken, Biden saying it's only Hamas, Israel's on board, and then Netanyahu keeps saying, no, we're not.
Well, I think there's truth to that, though, Mehdi. I do think Israel will be on board. First of all, this is all posturing.
Hold on.
Well,
This is a lie. This is a fucking lie. Israel is the one who's making the offer. Once Hamas accept, they say, nah, we were just kidding. We're just kidding. It was a bluff.
He said will be. The president is saying they have. The UN resolution said Israel has accepted it.
I believe they have. I don't think they.
Even though he says, "Give us the tools and we'll finish the job." That doesn't sound like someone who's up for a ceasefire.
Let me just reflect on the ceasefire. It is my not just opinion, but my belief and understanding that Israel will accept that, waiting on Hamas. Now, let's be honest. First of all, I don't like equating Netanyahu with Hamas. I have grave concerns about Netanyahu. I have far more grave concerns about Hamas, but neither of these.
As if Netanyahu has more respect and is not a fucking butcher than Hamas. He has killed 46,000 people, 17,000 children, and he don't want to compare Hamas to Netanyahu. I don't think you should be comparing Netanyahu to Hamas. Hamas is a resistant movement. They're fighting for their freedom. They're not terrorists like you say they are. They're not. They're just fighting for their freedom, my friend.
These entities, the Netanyahu government nor Hamas, have an incentive to end this. Let's just be forthright. Netanyahu knows that when this ends, his political career is probably done. He might be going to prison. Hamas knows, and they've articulated, it's in their best interest to keep it going. They've gotten the sympathy of the world. So when you have two parties have no incentive to end this, both have a stake in this. I do know Israel will accept the ceasefire.
Yes, but you said that about 4 times.
Well,
but the UN resolution... Hold on,
publicly. They will...
Congressman, but the resolution that was passed at the UN said Israel has accepted it. And Joe Biden said they have accepted it. That is not true.
I believe that to be true privately. You're saying that Netanyahu has not said it publicly.
He hasn't said it publicly.
I think
he said the opposite publicly, right?
And waiting on Hamas to do the same thing. There must be, let me just make it clear, there must be a ceasefire.
Can we agree then? Okay, let's find a common ground, because I fear we're going to argue even more as we go forward. Can we agree that as of right now, publicly, as far as we have any public evidence that I can have as a journalist, Israel, in the form of Prime Minister Benjamin, has not accepted a ceasefire deal?
Have not publicly. I believe privately they have.
So privately, Netanyahu said I have, but publicly he does videos mocking Biden.
I think that's exactly. And that is worthy of a conversation. And I want to make it clear to you, too, and everybody listening and watching. There should be a ceasefire. I've been saying this for months. Release the hostages, have a ceasefire. By the way, that goes back to October 6th. And I wish we had started more conversations right now about the future.
Okay.
Let's talk about resolving this once and for all, and for our generation to continue to live through this cycle of bloodshed.
Yes.
And then pause, and bloodshed and pause is.
This is an escape route. Oh, we gotta solve this Palestinian issue that's been going on for 76. We gotta solve the Palestinian issue that we've been deliberately sabotaging with Israel and telling Israel you could sabotage it and we'll give you cover militarily and politically and economically. We are a partner to the occupation. Whether I'm a partner, you're a partner. Our tax dollars, $4 billion, go to Israel to occupy these people.
Unacceptable.
Agreed. Just on Netanyahu, before we move on, the top Democrats in Congress, Schumer and Jeffries, did co-sign, you say out of tradition, an invite for him to speak. He'll be here next month. Will you be attending the Netanyahu speech in Congress next month to listen to him lie and smear your party and the president? I know you're not a fan of his. You made it very clear just a moment ago. So will you join Bernie Sanders, a Jewish Democratic member of Congress like yourself, and many other Democrats who say we are not going to go to this speech and be insulted by this guy who's being investigated for both war crimes and genocide?
My whole drive in today to be with you, I spent thinking about this issue. I've not made a decision. I'm appalled by him. I love Israel. I believe the Israel state, the nation, is a dear friend of us, and I think we share more values than people recognize. Netanyahu is a real problem. His government is despicable. I believe Tom Friedman's column in the New York Times just yesterday sums it up beautifully how I feel. I think as a member of Congress, it is my obligation. I was elected to participate. Doesn't mean I agree with people. In fact, I've seen a lot of stuff on the House floor, Mehdi, you can imagine, with which I not just disagree, I find appalling, including listening to people speak on the House floor. So I'm thinking about that right now. I am deeply opposed to his leadership. I also believe it's a responsibility to show up and listen. In the absence of hearing someone, I think that is also problematic. I also know that, let's talk politics for a second. Mike Johnson has a big win on his hands. If half the Democratic caucus decides not to show up to Netanyahu's speech, mark my words, that will be accretive to Donald Trump. So I'm weighing all these things right now. At the end of the day, I'll make a decision.
I'm not sure the American public are fans of Netanyahu. I don't think it will matter. I think they'll appreciate you people taking a principled stand.
Independent voters.
I don't think there's a big pro-Netanyahu movement amongst independent voters. But
there's a big pro-Israel.
They invited Netanyahu to speak in front of the United States Congress without the president inviting him. He has done this during Obama. And what he's saying is, well, we have to show up because the Republicans are going to get one up on us. No, you don't have to show up. You have to be principled. If you showed up for Netanyahu's speech, that means you are co-signing his policies in Israel and his murderous behavior. You're as guilty as he is. Stop this game, man.
So let's talk about that. What's going on? I want to talk about deaths in Gaza from all the weaponry that we have given to Netanyahu, continue to give to an ungrateful Netanyahu. The other week, we saw 4 Israeli hostages rescued from inside of Gaza by an Israeli military and police operation, returned to their families. A very good thing. President Biden, Secretary of State Blinken, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, all reacted with praise, with celebration. None of them, in their initial responses, had a single word to say about the over 200 Palestinians reportedly killed, over 700 injured in that rescue operation, many of them innocent women and children. A lot of people have been asking this for the last 8-9 months. I'm sure you hear it in your constituency. Do Palestinian lives just not matter to the modern Democratic Party?
Oh, I think that's a horrifying statement. Let me acknowledge let me acknowledge the 38,000 human beings killed in Gaza, the 1,200 Israelis, but particularly the innocents. To me, it's all the same. They're human beings. I'm appalled and disgusted. First of all, there are Americans being held hostage. Here, let me change the lens for a moment. I believe, if anything, it has been the United States and the Biden administration should have been the foremost responsibility to extract our hostages, our nationals. I think there are 6 or 7 still, we don't know even if they're alive. So the question is, would we... 90% of the illegal settlers in the West Bank are American citizens from New York and from other states. So the whole idea, you could be an Israeli citizen, an American citizen at the same time, and commit an illegal act by settling land that doesn't belong to you. When those people react against you, then the United States has to go and rescue you and try to fight for you. Why don't we just tell them, listen, you got to come home. If you don't come home, you're going to put arrest warrants. When you come, you're going to be arrested at the airport. You can't commit a crime and still feel the umbrella of protection of the United States. You can't do that. Now listen to this. undertake an effort to extract American hostages, 2, 3, 4, 7, if we knew 200 civilians would be killed in the process?
What's the answer?
Boy, that's a tough. That's
a tough question.
That's a tough question. If you're the leader of a country, absolutely.
You
When
killed
can
200 people to save 6.
Mehdi, look at our. First of all, I'm the son of I'm a Gold Star son. I lost my dad in
All right,
Vietnam.
here we go.
One of the most despicable.
The victimhood.
I think,
I'm a
wars
victim.
that
A
the United
victim.
States has ever prosecuted. We've killed hundreds of thousands of innocent people over the years. We continue to. Look at what we did in Japan to end a war. These are philosophical questions that most Americans would never want to be faced with.
But you're a member of Congress, right?
I'm a member of Congress.
You wanted to
and
be
the answer-
president.
Yes.
So let me ask you the straight-up
The
question.
answer to let me
Go
answer
on,
your question.
please.
I believe, as the President of the United States, his or her obligation should always be the safety and security of Americans first. It does not mean dismissing other humanity. But in the case of hostages, when it comes to this, and we've tried this before, and we've seen carnage. The fact of the matter is, I think we should extract. And by the way, if that means there are civilian deaths as a result, unfortunately, that's, I think, a cost.
Well, the
doing
cost
job of
implies there's no other
presidency.
choice. We, of course, know that there was another way to get
And
the
I have
hostages
empathy.
out.
I have
No,
empathy.
well, hold on. There's another way to get the hostages out. We got over 100 hostages out in a deal in November. You could have got Benjamin Netanyahu blocking another deal. But just I want to be very specific. In your view, is killing 274 Palestinians, including many children, an acceptable price to pay for the freeing of 4 Israelis?
Like I said, I don't. You want a clear answer, and
Yeah.
you want to make
Yes.
want to make this black and
Is it
white.
an
There's no-
acceptable price to pay?
It's an unacceptable price, but I think it's a price that has to be paid.
All right. Now you see what he said. He said, for the Israel to kill 274 Palestinians to rescue 4 Jews, it's an acceptable price. Now watch him turn the table against him. Watch how he squirms, because he knows that he doesn't value Palestinian lives.
Wow. Okay, so how many Palestinians would it be acceptable to kill in order to get back a single hostage? What's the upper limit? Would 400?
When we start talking about human lives, every single one,
all of a
one
sudden
life
human
is too
lives
many.
now.
And let me just,
But
let's
you've
be
just said
human
that
here.
274 is a price that has to be paid.
Because
I'm saying if it was 1,000, would you pay that?
Because in my estimation, if we look at questions like this in a vacuum, of course we're going to come up with different answers than in the context of
let me
the
apply
entire
broader.
challenge of the Middle
So
East. Because if we are increasingly seen, the United States of America in particular, as unwilling to sometimes do what's necessary to demonstrate some strength and prevent.
I mean, Congressman, you just said a moment ago we have a history of killing thousands of innocent people.
We do. And my father died in a war that was.
I do need to ask a question for the value of Palestinian life.
Yes.
So, if you're saying that to get free people from the clutches of horrible captivity, hostages, people possibly being abused in captivity, to free them, you have to pay a price, right? It's a horrible price. Does that ratio work the other way? How many Israelis can Palestinians kill in order to free Palestinian detainees who are currently being tortured in Israeli captivity, some of them being raped to death, according to the New York Times last week? Can they kill 200 Israelis? Hold on, let me finish the question. Can they kill 200 Israelis to free 4 Palestinians who are being tortured in an Israeli prison?
I think it's a question that I'm sure Palestinians are asking the same way
I'm
as
asking you
Israelis.
that.
But
no, you answered it. You answered it for Israel. I would like you to answer it in reverse.
Let me just clarify something you just said. You said Palestinian prisoners are being raped to death by Israeli
this is a
soldiers?
report in the New York
This is true. Remember I told you that Palestinians are being raped?
Times last week.
Okay. I don't believe that to be true. Nonetheless, the
A
question.
41-year-old detainee said the interrogators made me sit on something like a hot metal stick and it felt like fire. He said another detainee died after they put the electric stick up his anus.
No, it's repulsive.
This is an Israeli
Jewish
dungeon
boys.
that CNN and New York Times have both reported
Yeah,
on.
the chosen people, the
So to
chosen
free
people
people
doing
from
this.
that prison,
The
can you kill
chosen
lots of innocent
people.
people according to the logic of the raid in Gaza?
What I'm trying to say is, if you represent the Palestinian people, you represent the Israeli people, we look at this quite differently. I don't want to
I know you do, which is why I'm asking the question, Congressman. I understand that you see it differently. A lot of people watching at home say, why? Why aren't all lives equal?
They should be.
But they're not,
Well, then let's
according to
go,
you.
But then let's go. Look, what I don't want to do is get into a debate of who suffered worse, whose
I'm
lives.
not asking
By the
that.
way,
I'm asking about our lives treated equally.
Innocent Palestinian lives matter just as much as innocent Israeli lives.
Answer the
Muslim
question.
lives as much as Jewish and Christian lives. That's who I am. Now, with all that said, war is hell, and this is nauseating. And we're trying to get back.
When you tell them why Palestine are being, war is hell. People die in war. But if it's Hamas that kills, these are terrorists. They should be killing anybody. Watch what he says. He can't bring himself to say it's okay.
Line war is hell, because can't Hamas say the same thing when you accuse them of war crimes? They can say war is hell.
Yes,
Isn't that why we have rules to war?
Yes,
so that we stop it from being hell?
Yes, they can. War is hell. And by the way, let me go back. Let me go back to Netanyahu. I've said to his face, as the ranking member of the Middle East Subcommittee on Foreign Affairs, as a Jewish man, you can imagine that, look, you're a Muslim man, I'm a Jewish man. We represent, to some degree, when we're on public platforms, our people, our diasporas. I've said to Netanyahu's face, in Israel, in Jerusalem, in his office, what I felt, which is the settlement policy is creating dynamics that will only make Israel's security and safety at grave risk. His treatment of Palestinians, when people have nothing to protect, they act in ways that the rest of the free world would consider irrational. So this goes way back. The question is, they're both wrong. Netanyahu is wrong. Hamas is wrong. I don't want to equate the two, but the fact of the matter...
That wasn't my question, but I appreciate you making that point.
I want to make that clear.
Let's talk about Netanyahu briefly in a different context. You said war is hell. I I don't like that statement. I think war has rules. People should follow the rules of war to prevent it from being hell. Right? We built an entire post-war legal architecture for that reason. America led the way.
Well, after we dropped nuclear weapons, after we firebombed Tokyo, I mean,
and then we came up with Geneva Conventions, UN Declaration, etc., Universal Declaration. You have said no one is above the law. You've said repeatedly on Twitter in relation to Donald Trump, and I agree with you. You're right. What I don't understand is why you insist on putting Benjamin Netanyahu, who you don't like, you've said that since the beginning of this interview, why you insist on putting him above international law. You were one of 42 House Democrats who voted with Republicans earlier this month to impose sanctions on the ICC chief prosecutor and other ICC officials after he announced he was...
Since the beginning of this interview, he's been saying, well, I don't like Netanyahu. We don't want him here, but I'm going to join the Congress when he comes to the United States. At the same time, when the International Court of Justice said they're going to put a subpoena to arrest him for war crimes, he is one of 70 Democrats who signed a declaration to sanction the court for trying to arrest a war criminal. These people talk out of their ass. Right out of their ass. They talk right out of their ass. Excuse my language. They are hypocrite. America, you are being fooled. The American people need to unite and get rid of these fucking people. Excuse me. Oh, I lost my... Here's my revenue. The people need to stop. We got to get together, man. Poor whites, poor blacks, poor Arabs, poor Midwestern. We got to get together and get rid of these corrupt politicians. You think the Republican Party is serving white America, or the Democrat is serving the blacks and the white and the poor whites? They're both in it for the money. It's all about gimmicks and getting rich. All my life, they've been telling us, oh, this election is an essential part and it's very important. We got to vote. Not voting. Not going to vote for Biden or Trump. Going to stay right home and let it help. Let me see it self-destruct. I want to see if America is going to get destructive if Trump is elected. I want to see these lies.
Seeking an arrest warrant for Benjamin Netanyahu. You are a Democrat, a liberal, a supporter of the rule of law, and you're going after the International Criminal Court to protect Benjamin Netanyahu.
They went beyond their purview, Mehdi, and they did not afford, they didn't even follow their own process in this case. Look, I have some misgivings about the ICC. This was very distinct. By the way, he's not above the law. And in fact, I think everything you just shared, whether it is the prisoner who was just tortured, according to this report, war crimes by Hamas, war crimes by Israel. Yes, they should be litigated. It should be transparent. It should be public. I think the way the ICC went about it was absolutely incorrect.
Why?
But do I believe, because they didn't follow their own standards, and they were beyond their purview. Of course, Israel and the U.S. not party to the ICC.
Nor is Russia.
And I think, by the way...
nor is... First of all, Palestine is party to the ICC, as you know, and Russia isn't, and we all supported the ICC arrest warrants against Putin. Biden was happy with it, said it was good.
Like I just said, it's beyond their purview. And secondly...
Why is Putin not beyond their purview, but Netanyahu is?
Well, I think the whole methodology, frankly, of the ICC right now...
I get that, but we didn't have... But you didn't vote for sanctions on the ICC when they went after Putin, only after Netanyahu.
I understand. In this case, I do not believe that the way they did not afford Israel even the right to respond. Yeah, I believe in due process. Let me put it that way. I believe in due process. The way they pursued this did not afford him that. Look, I'm not a defender of Benjamin Netanyahu.
Wait, you voted for a bill? Yeah. Okay, so this bill you voted for, most Democrats,
yes,
didn't
you
vote
are.
for this bill.
You're
it's so broad. Even if we were to agree with you that they're outside their purview, and they would say they're not, it didn't just go after ICC officials, but also, quote, the immediate family members of ICC officials. That is mob-like behavior, is it not, to go after family members?
And by the way, 95% of what we vote on in Congress has elements that we find distasteful.
But
that's our, of course, that's our job in Congress. We have a choice. I stand by that vote, of course.
So you stand, hold on. You stand by putting sanctions on ICC Chief Prosecutor Karim Khan's 2 adult sons. What did they do wrong?
Mehdi, what I stand by is a vote. First of all, we have votes in Congress that we know will not end up going anywhere. We have votes that we know will probably be signed into law. They have very different consequences.
So you voted for this one because you don't think it'll be signed into law?
Well, first, no, I voted for this as a message because I do think it's a principle.
A message. A message to ICC Chief Prosecutor Karim Khan's 2 sons. What did they do wrong?
Now you know that's not what my intent was. And by the way, if you look
yes,
at
it is.
With respect, Congressman, it doesn't matter what your intent is.
Then look,
it matters what you voted for. You voted for a very mafiosi bill, which says
no,
you don't think going after the children.
You know what's wrong with Mahdi? Nobody's going to come back again to his show because he asked you questions.
The prosecutor
they're not going after
Trump-like behavior?
Matty, they're not going after the
What does it mean
children.
to put sanctions on the children of the prosecutor?
My point is, but that's not a mafioso bill. By the way, if that is
picking on the family members of someone,
Matty,
that's the kind of thing Donald Trump does to Congressman, not Dean Phillips.
You're an educated man. You know how the Congress works. You know how bills operate.
Just because I know how it works doesn't mean I agree with it,
saying,
Congressman.
But when a lot of what you agree, when the overwhelming portion of a bill you agree with, and you're forced with a yes or no. First of all, I don't vote present. I don't say I was there. I'm not taking a position. I say yes or no. And I think in this case, I registered my principle that the ICC did not conduct itself in a manner befitting of the court.
But you could have said that in a speech, in a statement, an article. You didn't need to vote for a bill which targets the family members of ICC officials.
And I'll say it to you right now. They shouldn't be targeted, the family members.
Okay, but you voted for that.
Mehdi, I vote for a lot of every single one you have on your show votes for things that we are forced
But the majority of your colleagues chose not to vote for that, even though they probably agree with you.
42 Democrats, as you said, voted for it.
Just on the issue of war crimes, which the ICC chief prosecutor is accusing Netanyahu of, and Hamas of, which the ICJ is investigating, which every major human rights group in the world is saying Israel is guilty of. How do you justify supporting the sheer devastation caused by Israel in Gaza over the past 8 months? Unprecedented, apocalyptic destruction. I just want you to have a look at the screen. We're just going to put some up here. Have a look at the screen right there. This is Gaza.
We don't care.
That is not an anti-terror operation. That is not the targeting of Hamas.
It's horrifying.
That is a war crime.
What?
Wiping out entire neighborhoods.
Showing devastation.
Entire neighborhoods. Can you show me what you think is precise or legal in those pictures?
Yep, thank you.
We're looking at devastation. You know,
So how do you justify that?
What you're asking me to do is what I'm going to do, which is to say I'm appalled. I don't want. I can barely watch that. No, as a father myself, to know that children died in those buildings.
And I appreciate that, but you vote for that.
I didn't vote for. That's
ridiculous. You vote for sending aid to Israel, arms to Israel.
And therefore I'm voting for...
Yes. If I put a gun in someone's hand and they shoot someone, I'm complicit in that, am I not?
Damn, Mahdi. Damn, brother.
If someone takes something you give them and they use it nefariously or against your own principles, that's your fault. I don't necessarily.
What if they use it to kill someone and then I give them more? Hold on. What if they use it to kill someone? I didn't know about it. Fair enough. It's not on me. I didn't know they were going to do that. But once they've killed someone, I give them a gun again and again, day after day, for them to keep killing people. That's what Congress does.
You know, Mehdi, I understand your point. What I see there is horrifying. I wish Hamas didn't do what they did on October.
I'm not disputing that you think it's horrifying. I appreciate you don't like that. You're a human being. I hope you don't like that.
Again,
I'm asking, why do you support that by sending weapons? Those buildings were destroyed by weapons you voted for.
I understand some of them, not all of them.
Yes.
I support Israel. I support human life. I support the self-determination of the Palestinian people. I support a two-state solution. I support ending this nonsense. I support freedom, of which there's very little in the Middle East.
Why not say that's horrific? I'm not going to send weapons to Israel to do that.
Because I support the country, and I believe in its defense.
But you can support the country without supporting the destruction of wholesale of Gaza cities and towns.
Then give me 30 seconds to explain. There are 15 million Jewish people in the world. My grandparents lived during the Holocaust, not that long ago.
There we go.
Which 2/3 were wiped out.
The victim, remember? My father died in Vietnam. Now his grandmother died in the Holocaust. It's the victimhood. It is the victimization mentality. I am the victim here. I just saw these horrific pictures of Gaza, and he's the victim. He's voting for weapons and money to go to Israel, and he's going to tell you about his grandmother in the Holocaust. He's going to tell you about his father in Vietnam. I don't need to hear that. I'm sorry that happened to you, but you're a congressman. You should not be voting for money to go to Israel to kill human beings. Full stop. That's it.
I've never walked in your shoes, you've never walked in mine. Let me tell you, being a Jewish person, you carry baggage, big time baggage. Israel is the only country in the world that our diaspora believes, and I think it's fair to say, is a place of refuge if this and when this happens again.
It's not. I'm going to tell you something. You see, if you don't make peace with those people and give those people their independence, you're not going to be safe in Israel. I'm telling you, it's not going to work. So if you think that Israel is your insurance policy, and God forbid something happen here, whatever, that the Jews have to leave, you picked the wrong neighborhood and you killed tens of thousands of people. Nobody's in a forgiving mood in that region. If it wasn't for America right now, Israel will have surrendered to Hamas. Trust me.
The United States did not accept Jews escaping in the very beginning. We have an affection for Israel that is unique, and I just ask people to understand. There are
you yourself said, Congressman, that doesn't make Israel secure.
That does not make Israel secure.
So why
in fact,
not oppose
it's making
it?
I do oppose it now.
So why don't I won't vote for weapons now?
Let me explain.
Please.
So I'm telling you, we have a different, and I'm just asking you and others to understand what it's like. It's not easy. It's horrifying to see this. Israel has a lot of enemies. And it saddens me that we have to support them with this type of
everybody in the region. Everybody's their
because
friend.
they've got Hezbollah on their northern border, of course. You've got Hamas. You've got Iran, which sent drones. Israel is defending itself from just about every neighbor in the region.
What we watched was that Israel defending itself, destroying wholesale
what is
communities.
That is Israel responding, I think, disproportionately to an attack on its own people, of which 1,200 people died, which I wish you would talk a little bit more about too, because we're going to go back to October 6th. If this is a ceasefire, we're going right back to where it was. No troops, no Israeli troops in Gaza, Hamas in control.
Okay, we're running out of time. Gaza was under siege for several years. It was under occupation. It was a horrible place.
I'm disgusted.
Good.
I love Israel. I love
I just wish you would
beings.
act on your disgust and Joe Biden would act on his anger. Before we finish, let's talk about your presidential campaign this year. Why did you run for president earlier this year? Why did you primary Joe Biden? And I have to ask, this is not a ding, was it a humiliating experience for you?
Not at all.
Because you are a Minnesota congressman and you came not second behind Joe Biden in Minnesota. You came third behind Uncommitted. And in Michigan, you came fourth behind Marianne Williamson after she had suspended her campaign. What was the point of going through that experience of humiliating yourself?
It's the point of protest. It's the point of being an American. It is the point of demonstrating that we live in a country of competition, not coronations. It's a point of not letting two parties, in this case my party, act, in my estimation, completely against the interests of its own people and citizens and country. And I'm appalled by this duopoly. And somebody had to show some courage and stand up to it. I'm so glad. Not only was it not humiliating.
And he didn't do shit. Nobody voted for you. Nobody even knew you're running for president. He just proved to be nothing but a fly in the wall. No, I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Humiliating. It was the most gratifying, beautiful experience. It restored my faith in Americans and further reduced my faith in this two-party system. By the way, the reason I did it, I spent a year, Mehdi, trying to encourage others to run because Joe Biden is a good man, but he's not going to win, I don't believe. And I am disgusted by how much support is now being accrued to Trump. Someone had to stand up. Someone had to demonstrate that you can
Trump 2024.
Even if it's a fool's errand, my goodness. My goodness. That's what, and by the way, protests, which I know.
No, I appreciate that. It was a bold move on your part. There's no doubt about that.
And I loved every minute of it.
And I should point out to our viewers that you are now retiring from Congress. You're standing out in November. Yeah. Democrats and anyone who cares about America, in my view, finally got some good news the other week when Trump was convicted on all 34 counts of falsifying business records to try and cover up campaign finance violations. You tweeted, I want to put up the tweet, you tweeted the following day, quote, Donald Trump is a serial liar, cheater and philanderer, a 6-time declarer of corporate bankruptcy, an instigator of insurrection, a convicted felon who thrives on portraying himself as a victim. Governor Kathy Hochul of New York should pardon him for the good of the country. When I read that, Congressman, I felt like I was reading a headline from The Onion. You can't be serious, can you? No one is above the law, but Donald Trump should be pardoned.
That was very much a tweet of principle and pragmatism. Donald Trump, in the estimation of a majority of Americans, is being pursued by our legal system, and I don't believe that to be true. I don't believe it to be true. You probably don't.
But the polls don't show that.
But the fact of the matter is, a huge swath, a majority of this country believes that's to be the case. And if we lose the rule of law, if we lose faith in the systems and the institutions of governance and democracy here in America, I believe we are in for very, very
That's a
difficult
two-way
times. So
street,
let me
Congressman. A lot of
say,
people like me lose faith in the system because they can't hold Trump to account.
and let me just say this: the Georgia case, I was trapped in the House chamber on January 6th. I was, as everyone watched on TV, we were trapped in the.
All right, we had enough of this guy. As you saw, the whole interview was full of shit. He showed his true color every time. If it was Palestinian live, it's okay to take them. If it was Jewish live, no, you cannot do that. Then he telling us every time you put him on the wall, you see, this is the whole idea: victim, 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 victim. They are, they really see themselves as victim. Really, Israelis and Jews see themselves as victim, even if they are victimizing the other. This is like a person who's abused as a child and becomes an abuser when he gets older. He needs to take a deep breath. Instead of voting for Israel to get $26 billion, he should hold Israel responsible. You know what I'm saying? Israel should be held responsible. Israel should not be able to take 26 for what? Free healthcare, free school, free university. Huh? Good, go get your teeth done in America. Senior citizen can't get their teeth done. Medicare don't cover it. All right, let's go. Let's just go through the headlines, and then we're about to call it. Because I'm a little bit hungry. I wish I had a producer, man. I'll pay. Anybody heard me and is a producer? I'm willing to hire you. If you're loving me. No way. Is it? Yep. This is the headline, right? I have to get, there. I don't have to get out of the way, right? Okay. All right, these are the headlines. Let's go over them. Okay. The headlines: Julian Assange is free and reaches a plea deal. Okay, you know who Julian Assange is? The guy who came out with WikiLeaks. He got those stuff from I don't know, from some lady at the Pentagon or the NSA, and it had a treasure trove of international cables, of secret emails and things of it. What he released, if you want to hear a good story, I'm from Yemen, and in Yemen they had a war with the rebels, the Houthis, with the government then, from 2000 to 2010. They had about 4 wars. And at the same time, the president was afraid of his own general, who they've both been in power for 30 years. And every time they gave, and Saudi Arabia was help bombing the rebels, they would give targets for the Saudis, and the president would deliberately put his general's headquarters as part of the target. And the United States knew. The United States said, "Why is he doing that? I mean, don't do that. Just hit everything, but don't shoot." That's his general. And then when WikiLeaks was released and he found out, and the Arab Spring came in, he broke the ranks with him, and they ended up losing the whole country to the rebels. They were fighting for the 6 wars, who are the Houthis right now, who are attacking American ships. Anyway, can't see shit. I'm blind as a bat. I can't. Anyway, you know what it is, and I know what it is. I can't see, man. I'm telling you, I need some help, man. All right. Russia warns U.S. of retaliation for Crimea attack. The Ukrainian attacked Crimea with cluster weapons to a beach where children died and were killed. Ukraine asks backers to deeper strikes in Russia. This war we're having in Ukraine, it doesn't make any sense from day one. Either you should have given them all the weapons they needed from day one, instead of playing these games little by little, chance by chance. Can I kiss you? Can I touch you? Can you touch it? You know, when you're on a date and you're trying to get a girl. This is what they've been doing to Ukraine. Ukraine lost all these people, almost 500,000 fighters. And now you could hit those certain areas. Okay, we'll give you a rocket that reaches like 100 miles. Either give them the weapons to fight and win the war, or just let them surrender. That's it. Because what you're doing is you're killing them slowly. EU okays military aid to Ukraine drawn from frozen Russian assets. What they're doing is, which is stupid, they taking the Russian money and giving it to Ukraine. And that is the stupidest things you could do. You understand? Hey, what's that? Who's this? John Wayne is here. John Wayne is in the house. Yo, John Wayne, man, where you been? Oh my, you get your YouTube gold play button for the 1 million plus subscribers. Yeah, well, the guy who I don't own the channel, but the guy who owned the channel had 2.8 billion views. It used to be a short channel. You could say, yeah, it's not my channel, by the way. My channel is the other channel that has like 6,000 subscribers. It's dead as fuck. It's called The Empowered Man. But it's okay. Thank you, man. I appreciate your intake there, and you're a good man, John. John, I love you. I know you got a lot of good intentions for me, and I know you love me as a human being. I know, and I understand the love you give me all the time. Netanyahu rejects any deal that ends Gaza war. And you just saw the congressman. They said Hamas does not want a ceasefire, and they claim that Hamas does not want a ceasefire. I hope this is their end. Israel docs show government effort to shape U.S. discuss. Yeah, all right. I'm tired of that shit. Let me talk with my brother here, though. John Wayne here. John Wayne, what's up, man? Where you been, John Wayne? My brother in arms. I can't see, man. I lost my eyesight in the last 2 months. I've been on the beach. Every day you go to the beach. You know what we call you in the old days? They call you a beach bum. Anybody who used to go to the beach, they used to call him a beach bum when we grew up. I haven't been to the beach in probably 15 years. And I'm going to tell you why. I have a reason that I go to. I see people do a lot of shit. They defecate, they urinate. It's disgusting. I will never go to the beach. And it's dangerous. We just lost 2 kids in Queens, New York. The wave just came and took them. They can't find them. I mean, sometimes they have this current, underwater current that comes and just grabs you and takes you as long as it can, then it spits you out. And this has happened like 2 times that I have paid attention to in Rockaway Beach in New York City. I don't know what it's called, but it's a dangerous, man. You got to be careful there, man. Yeah, well, my family has been visiting. Well, that's why where you at? What state you at? Are you in New York? Because the weather is beautiful out there right now. I don't go out a lot because I have believe it or not, I have like asthma, like let me see. Oh, Florida. Oh, you're a Florida man. You're a Florida man, huh? He's a Florida man, man. He's a Florida man. Yeah, that's what all the crazy people are. They always say the craziest people are either in Florida or in the Bronx in New York. That's the only place you can find crazy people, man, at one time. You know? Have you ever heard of Dr. What's it, Dr. Respect? That guy who used to be is it Dr. Respect? I don't know what he's called, man. This guy who's fucking just lost his job. He's playing with these young kids, man. He used to be on Twitch. Dr. Respect, whatever, he's 40 years old and he's playing video games. I don't understand the concept of that happening, man. Why the hell a lot of gamers are fucking pedophiles, man? A lot of gamers on Twitch are they're no good. They chat. What's his name? Dr. Respect? I don't know what's his name. Here we go. It just messed up, huh? Yeah, it's hot, man. Even here in New York, it's hot, man. I got the AC. In my house, I have a central AC, but it's too strong, so I shut it off in my room, and I use an AC for my window because that's too strong, man. That would hit my chest. My heart will start hurting. So I'm trying to. Oh, okay. Whoa. You understand? So the doctor, what's his name? Dr. Respect. What's that guy on Twitch, man? The guy on Twitch, man, who used to have like 4 million followers, man. He was doing something on the bad, I think people need to be careful with their children on Twitch, or their daughters on Twitch, man. What's his name? Dr. Respect. I don't know. I forgot his name. Everybody's talking about him because they have this, these drama channel. It's called, okay. Grooming is trending on you in this type of a 35-year-old DMs. He's 42 years old, man. Illegal. What's his name? Hey, Dr. Disrespect. Yeah. Hey, so Dr. Disrespect was on Twitch, and he was DMing like young kids, like young girls, man. You know what I'm saying? You ever heard of him? It's crazy, man. What's going on? It's crazy, man. Twitch is crazy, man. I mean, a lot of these guys, they've been on social media like for 10 years, 15 years. So they grew up with these kids. They grew up, and he's like 42 years old. He has this wig, and he has this sunglasses, what I used to wear too. And what happened is that when you have a lot of who does that? Destiny does that. Destiny's a creep. They use their platform to get in touch with. Destiny does not do what he does. Destiny's a cock, but he's not a pedophile like everybody else is. But what they do is these girls or these young girls fall in love, or they're attracted to these people. You still there, man? You left? Oh, there you go. Let me see what you said. No, haven't heard of him. Oh, okay. He's called Dr. Respect. If you disrespect, if you have it on your, you're gonna see him. He's trending on Twitter. The whole idea is Twitch is a different animal because you have people who are gamers. They game, and people are attracted to game, like young people are attracted to gaming. And when you have like 4 million followers, and he had like 380,000 concurrent viewers one time. The most I get is like 10 or 20 people watch me at the same time. Like right now, I have like 15 people, whatever. And young people are attracted to this kind of fame. I could never understand that. I have never, ever tried to walk up to somebody and get his autobiography. What is it? His signature. Can't even pronounce these words, man. I know what the word is, man. I'm losing my mind. I never been like stunned. I would never rush. Hey, I know you. Are you on TV? I would never do that. I would never get out of here. And I see like my friends. Oh, I saw this guy at the airport, man. One guy, no, I haven't heard. And they're starstruck. Yeah, autograph. That's what it is. You know what happened, man? I think I'm losing my mind, man. Since I had the stroke. See, I had a stroke, man, and I was in a coma for 6 months, and I lost a lot of speech. My speech that was gone. My memory is gone. I forget things that I want to say. Oh, sometimes I'll say, especially when I write, I will write something and I will forget certain words, not to write them, but in my mind, I thought I said them. And when you come to read them, like, what the hell is he writing? Like I'll say, John Wayne works for Disney World. And I will say, John Wayne, so-and-so, I will never mention the word Disney World because in my mind, I said it, but I will never write it down. I don't know how to explain it, man. When you lose when you have a stroke and you lose your mind, I mean, if you're dead for 6 months, I was dead like for 6 months on machines. You see that I was breathing through my neck, and they were feeding me through my stomach. And when you wake up, you have to learn everything again, man. I was dead from September, I think 2003. What was that? I don't know. It was 6 months. When I woke up, I thought it was the same day I went to sleep on. Anyway, man, I don't want to scare you with my story. Anyway, man, we had a good show, right, man? Why you come late, man? John Wayne, why you come late, man? Why do you come late? Talking about those boys selling Palestinian land, you know. I know it. I have one more video. Well, guys, you want to look at it, man? I didn't even know what it is, man. It's about this idiot. Let me see.
Going to continue in the intersectional woke direction, or are they going to steer back towards something like moderation? See, the Democratic Party of my childhood, the Bill Clinton Democratic Party, sure, it had heavy minority support, but it was largely considered the party of blue-collar workers, union workers, for example.
All right.
The lower middle class.
All right.
And then it had some elites. But generally speaking, it was considered a sort of broad populist coalition inside the Democratic Party.
All right.
And then in 2012, Barack Obama decided to abandon independents, abandon moderates, abandon blue-collar white voters, and he was going to go specifically at minority voters and get them to turn out in heavy, heavy numbers. And ever since then, the Democratic Party has...
You see, this guy is a racist piece of shit. Everything has to do with black people, he's racist, right? Minorities. But if you say one word about Israel, oh, he'll fucking lose his mind. Or things about Jewish people, he'll lose his mind. But he thinks he has the license to talk about minorities. Now, Obama, I didn't vote for him. I didn't care about politics at that time. But Obama got a lot of white votes. Black people did not put Obama in office. People put Obama in office. You understand? You need to understand that. White, sorry, man, usually come early and it's no, man, you're not upsetting nobody, man. It's cool, but sometimes you kind of you kind of punch like under you kind of try to I know how you work. I don't know if you like me for me or you just or you're just a funny guy.
They're moving steadily in the direction of a heavily minority voting base combined with single white ladies who are sympathetic to an intersectional worldview. In 2020, Joe Biden's voter base was 40% minority, which is...
Except the ladies. I don't got no ladies in here, man. I only have you. Most of my viewers don't even write. They're all from India, from Mexico, from Indonesia, from South America. They're scared to write something. They might get arrested. Okay. So you have here right now Ben Shapiro, who's a piece of shit. Ben Shapiro has a Daily Wire who uses it as a money-making mill, who actually steals money from white conservative Christians, pretending to be conservative and Judeo-Christian values, while he's a Zionist garbage, a genocidal maniac. And he just uses Zionist Christian to get their money, that's all. These Christians give away their money. If I get up there and lie to them and give them a couple of million, yes,
really, really high. It was 40% minority. There's a lot of women. And independents who are male, particularly, not particularly pro-Joe Biden. White voters, not particularly pro-Joe Biden. Now, this is all coming to a head. The future of the Democratic Party. Is it going to be a moderate party that steers more in the direction of, say, John Fetterman or Josh Shapiro? Or is it going to be a Democratic Party that steers more in the direction of Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar? This is all coming to the head in New York's 16th Congressional District for a reason. So there's a primary happening in the 16th Congressional District.
Now, if I did a show about it, about Jamal Bowman, he's being lynched by AIPAC. AIPAC, if you don't know, is a Jewish American lobbying group that lobbies everything in Israel. It spends about $100 million a year. If you vote against Israel, they'll come after you. Jamal Bowman is a black man from New York City, 16. They have spent almost $14 million to get rid of him. And he's saying that's why we have to get rid of him, because he's the only reason, because he's anti-Israel. That's all. He wants to get rid of them.
That primary poses Jamal Bowman, who is an extraordinarily radical person who relies on the philosophy of intersectionality consistently.
Yeah, because he wanted a ceasefire in Gaza, okay?
And he is running against a person named George Latimer.
Latimer, a corrupt person who gave his girlfriend a job of $150,000 in Westchester County. He got arrested. He was driving drunk. He's the piece of shit. And what do we do? The Jewish lobbying group picks him and gives him $40 million to advertise against him. That's the reason this Zionist genocidal piece of shit called Ben Shapiro hates Jamal Bowman, because he voted against Israel and he wanted a ceasefire. Good.
George Latimer is sort of a typical Westchester County government executive.
Corrupt as hell. gave a job to his girlfriend for $150,000, got caught drunk driving. I mean, everything that is unelectable, that he likes him. The reason Ben Shapiro likes him is because he's owned by AIPAC. That's all.
And he right now is running well ahead of Jamal Bowman. And that is for a reason. That is because the 16th Congressional District happens to have changed in constituency to include a bunch of Jews and also a bunch of black people. And this is coming to a head because the conflict between the intersectional ideology promoted by the woke left and
what AIPAC did, they went into the Jewish neighborhood and spent $1 million to get Orthodox Jews to register to vote. So could they vote against this black guy? Very simple. The Jews are voting against this black guy because he's not pro-Israel. That's all it is. And $14 million of AIPAC, a Jewish organization, lobbying group in Washington, that fucking is like the mafia of all lobbying group, spent $14 million in one district in New York City. Unbelievable money. And it's not going to help. It doesn't look good on the Jewish community as a whole. They're throwing money all over the place, spending $100 million to change America's election and steal Americans' votes.
Jewish people has broken out, particularly since October 7th, because the intersectionality says that if you're a member of a dispossessed group, and by dispossessed, they just mean statistically less successful group. Not that you've actually shown proof of dispossession in the here and now, but that you are, for example, underperforming educationally or economically. Underperforming.
Translation, he's talking about black people right now. He's talking about black people. He's just using whistles.
Performing in some other way. This is a result of white supremacy. And when extended into the foreign policy sphere, if you look at Israel, and if you look at the way Jamal Bowman describes Israel, or Rashida Tlaib, or Ilhan Omar, Israel is the white supremacist country, even though, again,
Israel is not a white supremacist. It's an ethno-Jewish state that hates Arabs and Druze and Christians. They have a law that said that Israel is a Jewish-only state. So for this guy, he has this big platform that is mainly supported by 80% of Christian religious whites, conservatives. Everything in his life has to do with the Jewish state. If you hate Israel, you're no good. You're not a good American. We hate you. You're not smart. You're an idiot. And it's only going to get worse for you, my friend Ben. Everybody's have awakened to your piece of shit games.
and it's a bunch of Jews, and many of them are brown Jews, versus the dispossessed brown people who are the Palestinians. Never mind the fact that Jews.
That's right. White Jews came from Eastern Europe. They have no connection to the region. Came and killed and displaced brown Arab people from their land and decided to call a Jewish state on Palestinian territory. I'm going to translate to you. I'm going to be the translator for Ben Shapiro. When he says something, I'm going to translate to you what he's really saying. I'm usually busy for them. All right, man. I love you, John Wayne. Thanks for coming, man. Just count yourself part of this channel, and you're always welcome. If you want to say something, I'll give you the link, and you can come up. I'm going to translate to you what Ben Shapiro is saying. I'm the translator here.
Are indigenous to the area. Never mind the fact that Palestinians could be theoretically absorbed by surrounding Arab countries very, very easily. But
why should they be observed and they own the land and they belong there? Why should we observe them? That's like me telling Jews in Westchester, they could, in the Bronx, they could easily just move to Westchester and leave the neighborhood alone. Very easy. I'm translating now for this garbage. I am the translator for Ben Shapiro.
They've never been done so, even though Jews, by the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, have been absorbed by the Jewish state in Israel. Put all of that aside. Intersection.
Well, you've been observed by a country that doesn't belong there. You're stealing land. As a matter of fact, the whole show today was about a synagogue that was selling illegal homes of Palestinians outside of Israel, not even inside Israel.
Nationality is a lie. It is a falsehood, and it's a stupid falsehood at that. But it is at the core of left-wing ideology, particularly radical left-wing ideology at this point. And it is breaking out again into the open in the 16th Congressional District, both because of the ethnic breakdown of the 16th Congressional District. Again, both.
It has nothing to do. Before AIPAC came in, everybody just voted their interest. When AIPAC came in, you see what you're doing right now is you're race baiting. And it's not going to be good for you as a Jewish community in that neighborhood area. For you, it is not good to be a race baiter and a race hater. It's not going to turn out well for you or for those people in that community. So leave the shit alone, and that's it. You won. You spent $14 million. You got the money. You got the influence. You got the media. Good for you. You won, and you beat this black man out of his seat. Black people are going to become resentful of the shit you're doing right now. Remember, the most people to benefit after the civil rights of 1964 were Jews, because before, Jews did not have a large representation in Congress. Right now, you have 37 American Jews in Congress, 27 in the Congress, and 10 in the Senate. And there are only 2.2% of the population. Why? Because mainly groups like gays and blacks and Arabs or Muslims, they are used as blocks for the Jewish to consolidate their power in Congress. If blacks did not vote for these, you're never going to get this representation. Good.
Significantly Jewish and also much more significantly black.
Okay.
And also because the Democratic Party has decided not to run on a broad spectrum platform that talks about economics per se. It's decided to break people down by ethnicity and then pose them against one another. So
isn't that what he just did right now? He just did that.
The person who represents the 16th congressional district is Jamal Bowman. Jamal Bowman, you'll remember from such hits as, I'm going to pull.
Jamal Bowman voted for a ceasefire in Gaza, and he condemned Israel's murder of 17 Palestinian children. The only reason this piece of shit is attacking him and the $14 million they spend against him is because he was not pro-Israel. If you're pro-Israel, this guy will say you are a saint. You understand? Go ahead.
This fire alarm because I believe it will open a door, supposedly.
Yeah, right.
But he's been representing the 16th congressional district since 2021.
Yeah, 4 years.
He is a self-described democratic socialist.
Yep.
He is also a radical anti-Semite. And he is.
You see, this is the problem. If you're anti-Israel, you're anti-Semite. You know what? Fuck Israel. So what does that make me? Fuck Israel today, tomorrow, and the day after, and until the day of judgment. Fuck Israel in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, in the dawn, at every moment of the day. Israel is a criminal state that has been killing innocent children. What does that make me? Does that make me? I'm not an anti-Semite. I don't hate you. You have to make a difference. Either you're going to be Israelis or you're going to be Americans. We need to know. Because when we condemn Israel, we are condemning a foreign country. So we cannot be anti-Semite if we condemn the murder of 17,000 children. I just lost my revenue. I cursed, man.
Supported in this race by people in the Democratic Party, ranging from James Clyburn, who refuses to endorse George Latimer. He says he's not going to endorse in that race.
Yeah.
Over to Bernie Sanders, who is suggesting that he's being targeted specifically because of his positions on Israel.
Bernie Sanders is Jewish, by the way. See, he fails to tell you that. Who supports this guy who's supposed to be an anti-Semite? See? This guy's lies, man. These people lie as they breathe. Give me your money! You Christians, give me your money, you conservative Christians. Worship me.
Well, he is being targeted, but not because of his positions on Israel, per se. He's being targeted because he's a full-scale anti-Semite, full stop.
Why? Give us an
and full-scale anti-Semitism on the radical left is perfectly fine. Because so long as it's not, I hate Jews, just purely, so long as it's, I hate Jews because they're disproportionately successful. I hate Jews because they exist in the Middle East. I hate Jews.
You see, the word is the Middle East. That's the only. He never said that. You crazy? And he's going to be in Congress. You're going to say that? Ilhan Omar said it's about the Benjamin, and she got censored and condemned and almost got kicked out of Congress and lost committee.
Because Jews are at the top of that intersectional hierarchy in which they are successful and therefore they are victimizers. So long as you say anti-Semitism that way, it's...
Blacks are the ones who got Jews to that position. The 1964 Civil Rights Bill that made blacks vote as one block Democratic was consolidated by the Jewish leadership as politicians. They consolidated the black vote, and Jews became congressmen and congresswomen and senators because of the black vote. And If it wasn't for LBGT or for Arabs, because you keep on scaring these, oh, the whites are going to come. The whites are going to come and get you. The white nationalists are going to come and get you. You got to vote for us because we're defending you against those yahoos. Let's be honest. Stop the lies. Stop lying, man. Stop lying to Americans, man.
Totally fine with the radical left. We'll get to more on this in a moment. First, I've been traveling a lot recently, which means my team and I need to be careful about securing our internet.
Yeah, he's
He is masked and ExpressVPN result of money
he's in Israel right now.
Intervention by the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC. Now, AIPAC has become sort of a political bugaboo.
No, it's not. $100 million you spent on elections is not a bugaboo. It is the bugaboo.
On the far right and on the far left. There's this idea that because it's a lobbying group that lobbies on behalf of largely Jews, but some Christians in America who are pro-Israel, that it therefore works for the Israeli government. It does not. Or that the intervention.
So let's see. It's a Jewish organization that spends hundreds of millions of dollars on pro-Israel politician, and it's not pro-Israel. I don't know. How do you make sense out of that? How do you translate that? I mean, as a human being, I mean, let me slow down. Let me try, what he's saying is that AIPAC, the American Israeli Political Action Group, whatever you want to call it, who is not registered as a foreign entity. So that makes it an American. So by being an American, it is a Jewish organization that advocates for Israel and has just spent $14 million in one district in New York because this black congressman refused to toe the Israeli line of that the Palestinians are evil and they deserve to die.
Of a lobbying group in a race is somehow shocking. It is not. It happens in literally every congressional race.
No, it
and
doesn't.
Particularly it's going to come up when you happen to have a congressperson who has committed a wide variety of full-on Jew-hating sins, which it turns out that Jamal Bowman has.
If you hate Israel, you hate the Jews.
So right now, Jamal Bowman is about to lose. According to Lohood.com, more than 14,000 Westchester County voters already have cast ballots in robust early turnout for the primary battle.
You know what, James? Jamal Bowman is going to lose, but you know what's going to happen? AIPAC will be shown as a criminal entity. It does not belong in politics. It is disgusting.
Between Bowman and Westchester County Executive George Latimer for Bowman's House seat. That includes 9,904 Democrats in New York's 16th congressional district who voted in person over 5 days from last Saturday through Wednesday. Extraordinary voter turnout for Jews in Westchester, a group that has spent months registering and mobilizing Jewish voters in Westchester for the Bowman-Latimer primary, reported strong initial results this week. Jewish voters it contacted made up more than 40% of Westchester residents who had voted in person or by mail as of Monday. Jewish voters only make up about 9% of this primary's voting population in Westchester, but apparently they make up 43% of those who requested mail-in ballots. And there is a reason for that. Not because people love George Latimer per se, but because it turns out that Jews in particular in this area don't really like Jew haters in Congress. It turns out not to be a...
He doesn't hate Jews. Why does he hate Jews? He never said he hated Jews. Why is it every time somebody has an opinion about Israel, all of a sudden you guys paint him as a Jew hater? You see how he's talking? If you don't love Israel, you hate Jews. This is what it is. This is what's going on, man. This is what's going on, man. The reason they're saying, well, the left is becoming anti-Semite, because you know why? The left is not co-signing the murder of children.
Particularly popular points of view. And when I say Jew haters, I really mean Jew haters.
What did he say?
For example,
okay,
in 2023,
yep,
Rashida Tlaib decided that she was going to introduce a resolution recognizing the quote-unquote Nakba. Nakba is a term that was made up by people who despise Israel and wish that it didn't exist.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, because you guys are Americans, this garbage, human garbage, Nakba is the word in English called the catastrophic. The Palestinian every year on Jewish and Israeli Independence Day have a memorial day of them being expelled from their homes, their farms, and their land. It's called the Nakba, or the catastrophe. So if you say that, you're anti-Semite. If I say that and I'm anti-Semite, then I'm 24 hours a day here. I'm 24 hours a day. They are so sensitive to the idea that a congresswoman will introduce a bill to recognize the Palestinian catastrophe of being 750,000 Palestinians being expelled from Palestine by murderous gangs, Jewish terrorist group at the time they were together through, and in order to create the state of Israel. So that's it. You see, the Limtus says here, you have to love our ugly child. Israel is our ugly kid. If you don't like our ugly kid, then you hate the mother.
It's meant to, it literally means disaster. And it is supposed to be the same thing as the establishment of the state of Israel. The state of Israel is the Nakba.
Yeah, it is.
Jamal Bowman has supported that resolution.
Why not?
But that's not the only thing he supported, or rather did not support. It turns out that the House, on October 25th, 2023, the House passed a resolution condemning Hamas's attacks on Israel. Now, this seems like a pretty big no-brainer. It's just a simple piece of legislation that affirmed U.S. support for Israel in its war with, the terrorist group that killed 1,200 people and took 250 hostages. 9 Democrats voted against the measure, including, wait for it, Jamal Bowman.
I'm willing to bet you that's not what it is. I don't know what the bill was. I know this guy is lying. Look at his eyebrow, man. It's like he paints him every morning. So the whole idea is everything he's saying is a lie. He's saying that if you don't love Israel, if you don't support Israel, then you're an anti-Jew. So by that count, then I'm an anti-Jew then. If I'm saying that Israel is committing crimes, Israel, as an American citizen, I'm saying that Israel, a foreign country, is committing a crime. By his standard, I am an anti-Semite, then I hate Jews. It's unbelievable what these things keep on moving and moving. Candace Owen, I don't blame her for fucking going nuts. But she has to deal with garbage like this.
Of course. Then, a few months later, you'll recall just a couple months ago, there was an Iranian attack on Israel where 300 missiles and drones were shot at Israel by a sovereign country, Iran. The United States, its allies, Israel, they helped shoot a lot of that down.
See, he's not telling the whole story. Israel attacked another sovereign country and blew up the Iranian embassy, killing Iranian officials inside a sovereign embassy in a sovereign country called Syria. See, he don't tell you the whole story. You have to go behind the line. See, now I knew that. Now I can tell you that he's lying.
And so there was an overwhelming majority of the House voting on a resolution to condemn Iran's recent attack on Israel. 14 members voted against the resolution. 13 Democrats and 1 Republican. The Republican is Thomas Massie, who votes against pretty much everything. The group of Democrats included leading people like Jamal Bowman, of course. He says we must do everything in our power to end the ongoing violence, pursue a lasting ceasefire, and save civilian lives. Instead of pushing resolutions that fan the flames of war, Congress should recognize all the lives that have been lost, both Palestinian and Israeli. What does that have to do with not condemning Iran for firing missiles at the Jewish state? All of that, of course, is a cover for what Jamal Bowman
There's something to the story. It's not true. I'm going to look behind it and bust him. He's a liar. He lies as he breathes.
really thinks.
You know what?
Here's Jamal Bowman back in March, suggesting that Israel is an apartheid state, and then suggesting that the rape of Israeli women on October 7th, all of that was a lie.
It was debunked by the New York Times, by the Sunday Times, by the United Nations. No rapes took place on October 7th. The reason they use that as a sexualization, because they know if you want to demonize your enemy, you have to accuse them of something. Let's make me and John Wayne here. Oh, John Wayne is a pedophile. Of course, that's a bad thing to say about him. But even by me accusing him, even if he's innocent, I already hurt his reputation. So what they did, they tried to use October 7th as everything. Oh, they cooked babies alive in the oven. No, they cut off the head of 40 babies. Lie. Oh, they took 400 women and shot them in their vagina. Shot them in their vagina. A rabbi said that. It's a lie. So everybody knows a lie. Everybody knows.
I am not an expert on apartheid, but those who are experts on apartheid refer to Israel as an apartheid state.
So you see, what he's saying here, Jamal Bowman, is according to Israeli human rights organization, they say that Israel is an apartheid state. When you have 7 million Palestinians without any voting rights, human rights, anything rights, all in jail without any administrative law or in the military law, then it is an apartheid. It is what it is. I'm not gonna, you know what? I'm not gonna stay here and waste my human brain cells on this guy. I'm tired and I'm hungry and I gotta go. First of all, I hope you enjoy the show. Just for conference, I'm not anti anybody. I don't hate Jews. I don't hate anybody. I'm just saying the truth. I'm just saying the truth. My issue is with Israel and those who support it. If you support Israel, I have an issue with you. And I'm going to expose you for what you are. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's see how long this channel lasts. They haven't found me out yet. I got to get rid of all the videos. He's an anti-Semite because he's believing in human rights. Oh, no. Don't say that. All right. Gotta go, man. I'm starving, man. I'm starving. I'm going to put a different ending, right?
Palestinian struggle is not just a cry for justice. It's a blistering battle for the most fundamental human rights that every living soul on this planet should inherit by birthright.
Do we have to convince the world that Palestinian mothers are like any other mothers in this world? Until when do we have to convince the world that Palestinian children are just like any other children in this world? Until when do we have to convince the world that Palestinian men don't deserve to be dehumanized? They have not left an